That's too far. Okay, so now we have a question where we have several choices in the box. We have 7 options in the box here, right? And we have these names 15 through 20. Now, for this question, we already know what this question is about. Okay, the question actually says, and I should show it to you. I'm trying to make sure I can fit everything on the screen. It says, what has each of the following volunteers helped someone to do? Right? What has each of the following volunteers helped someone to do? So first, they're going to mention this name Habib, and they're going to say that Habib helped do one of these 7 things. Right? Habib helped do one of these 7 things. That's what Habib helped to do. And then next they're going to go to Consuela, then Min, then Tanya, then Alexi. They're going to go through the entire list. Now, when you're doing this kind of question, when you're doing this kind of question, you want to be able to pay attention to the keywords in A, B, C, and D, right? So here, right, in A, they're going to be most likely focusing on somebody connected to doing something with physical difficulties. This one, of course, is going to be connected to rediscovering some skills. This one is going to be connected to improving and communication. All right. This one is going to be doing what? Talking about solving something independently. All right. And then we have escaping isolation. We have remembering the past. And also starting a hobby. Now, when you're doing this kind of question, it's not going to be just very straightforward. Sometimes they're not going to say the exact words in A or the exact words in B. They're going to paraphrase. And so that's what the test is. When they talk about Habib, they're going to maybe use some language, and you have to look at A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and decide which one of those answer choices matches the language which they said. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to it and do the best you can, and afterwards I'll go over the questions.
To look at questions 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
Now I'd like to tell you what some of our volunteers have said about what they do, to give you an idea of the range of ways in which they can help people. Habib supports an elderly lady who's beginning to show signs of dementia. Once a week they, along with other elderly people, go to the local community centre where a group of people come in and sing. The songs take the listeners back to their youth, and for a little while they can forget the difficulties that they face now. Our volunteer Consuela is an amazing woman. She has difficulty walking herself, but she doesn't let that stop her. She helps a couple of people with similar difficulties who had almost stopped walking altogether. By using herself as an example, Consuela encourages them to walk more and more. Min visits a young man who lives alone and can't leave his home on his own, so he hardly ever saw anyone. But together they go out to the cinema or to see friends the young man hadn't been able to visit for a long time. Tanya visits an elderly woman once a week. When the woman found out that Tanya is a professional dressmaker, she got interested. Tanya showed her some soft toys she'd made, and the woman decided to try it herself. And now she really enjoys it and spends hours making toys. They're not perhaps up to Tanya's standard yet, but she gains a lot of pleasure from doing it. Alexei is a volunteer with a family that faces a number of difficulties. By calmly talking over possible solutions with family members, he's helping them to realise that they aren't helpless and that they can do something themselves to improve their situation. This has been great for their self-esteem. And the last volunteer I'll mention, though there are plenty more, is Juba. She volunteers with a teenage girl with learning difficulties who wasn't very good at talking to other people. Juba's worked very patiently with her, and now the girl is far better at expressing herself and at understanding other people. Okay, I hope that's given you an idea of what volunteering is all about. Now I'd like to talk to you about...
Okay. All right, how about number 15? Does anybody have 15? All right, so you all are all over the board. I've gotten, wow. Okay, so this is the question that you all have problems with. I can see that now. Because I've gotten, for this first question, I've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different answers. How do we get 6 different answers for 15? All right, what did the person say? What did the person say? Okay, that's what makes a difference. What did the person say? The person said what for a bead? Let's make this a little bit smaller. The person said for Habib. $15 is not B. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, 15. No. No, 15 is not B. 15. No, I'm not going to play it again, but I'll just explain to you what they said. Okay. I'm gonna tell you what they said. I'm gonna paraphrase what they said. Right. So he takes a woman and others to a community center. They sing songs that takes them back to their youth. They sing songs that take them back to their youth. So what is that? What is that? That's what he's doing. He takes a woman and others to meet others at the community center, and they sing songs that takes them back to their youth. You have to hear that and then recognize what is the synonym for the activity. Right? He's helping people to remember their past times. They sing songs that takes them back to their youth. Right? They're not improving their communication skills. They're not rediscovering a skill. That's not what they said. They didn't say in the past these people were singers. Okay, you have to be able to hear the response and make the connection. That's what you have to be able to do. All right, now 16. What's 16? All right, great. So 16 was straightforward. 16 was straightforward, right? They said that this person has physical difficulties. He helps people, or she helps people with similar difficulties. This woman that stopped walking, right? So when they talk about stop walking, um, that's a synonym for what? Physical difficulties. Now, for number 15, I'm gonna go back to number 15 for a second because they tried to trick you with number 15 when they were talking about what Habib was doing. They mentioned the word difficulty. Some people might have chosen A because they heard the word difficulty. Okay, and you can't fall into that kind of trick. Now for number 17, what do we have for number 17? And if you're going to give me an answer, put like 17 and then put the answer, okay? Well, otherwise I'm going to lose track of what you're talking about. Right, yeah, 17 was also very, very straightforward. 17 is E, okay? Because they say there's this man who can't leave his room, who can't go anywhere on his own, and together they go to the movies. So the synonym is what? Escaping isolation. So in terms of practicing, and I'm going to state this now. In terms of practicing, where a lot of students make a big mistake is they just keep taking practice test after practice test after practice test, and you don't go back and work on the skill. So a lot of times what I suggest people to do is take the time after you do this and write down the synonym language. Right? The man is on his own, he cannot go out. That's the synonym for talking about escaping isolation. Get in the habit of being able to recognize what the synonym language is. Write it down so you can get in that habit, because with this kind of question, that's what they're doing over and over and over again. All right, number 18. All right, number 18 is G. Right, and the reason why they said this woman was watching Tanya uh, making toys, and the woman got inspired and started making toys also. All right, that's a paraphrase of what they said. That relates to starting a new hobby. Right, that relates to, because it wasn't something she had done before. Right, it was something she did after watching her. She started doing it. Okay, number 19. So you might have 19. Okay, great. 19 was D. Okay, and they said that um, he told the people they were not helpless. They were not helpless and can do something themselves. Okay? All right, and what about number 20? Let's see. All right, great job. Great job, great job, great job. All right, so far, does anyone have any questions? No questions? Okay, let's move on.